Outside the little red house on Rosemead Drive, plastic candy canes and red ribbon feel out of place behind yellow police tape and cop cars. It was 3 days before Christmas 2004. A dead man lay under the white sheet. James Andrews had been shot in the shin and through his right eye. Inside the little red house, James's 3 children had been eating breakfast. Ex-wife Sarah was getting ready for work.
And then I see him laying there. And I run out to him, and I remember screaming at the top of my lungs and the neighbors coming out.
Sarah put her head to James's chest.
It seemed like time just stood still.
His blood all over her yellow terry robe. What had happened? Sarah refused to believe James was gone.
Is he gonna make it? And I have no idea what has actually occurred. I didn't know that, I did.
Haley Andrews was 9 when her father was murdered.
It took a lot of innocence. It took a lot of my innocence away.
He was about to leave for the military. That's why all the little army men on the cake.
Yeah.
James's 3 children were his life. He was a good dad. That's why Sarah let him move back in despite being divorced. Things were complicated, but it worked for them. After all, the couple had known each other since high school. To her, he was Scooter. Everyone called him that. They had gotten married when Sarah was 18. Haley, born a year later, 2 sons after that. James joined the National Guard, though Sarah says he never liked authority.
If he put his mind to it, he wanted it, it was there. He did it. He was going to college, he was doing really, really well.
So who wanted James dead? If the 34-year-old father had enemies, he didn't tell Sarah.
I don't know if it was one specific person, or if he was in trouble with a group of people, but he knew someone was coming.
Months before the murder, Sarah said James started acting odd, watched his back, paced at night, had trouble sleeping. When she asked him what was wrong, he wouldn't say.
I remember being angry that if he knew something was going to happen, why the hell didn't he tell me? We could have fixed it,
The investigators evidently already talked to you.
Hours after James was killed, inside the police interrogation room.
Wait, did you hear anything this morning? What?
Sarah told detectives what she knew, and it wasn't much.
Well, I heard these 2 popping noises, but I figured he threw something in the back of his truck or something like that.
She never saw the shooter, neither did neighbors. But she did see a white 2-door Mercury Cougar turning off their street shortly after she heard gunshots. Detectives followed up. Nothing came of it. And so it went like this for 15 years, dead-end lead after dead-end lead.
And these are just the finite things that we have.
Detective Chris McGregor has been on the case since day one.
These don't get opened very often.
No, not unless there's a reason.
For us, he's unpacking the evidence.
This is the jacket that he was wearing at the time.
It's the first time the public has seen this stuff. The fatal bullet, Sarah's fluffy robe.
The emotion that was attached to it. The crying and the blood.
Brings McGregor right back to that day on Rosemead Drive.
I remember it vividly.
One of the things about this case is that there wasn't a lot of evidence to collect. That makes it difficult.
Correct.
McGregor says this murder wasn't random. James wasn't robbed. Someone wanted him dead. And there were plenty of people to interview. People who knew James left for work at 7 every morning. The detective tracked down James's friends.
You have the right to remain silent and not make any statement at all.
This is Misty Cartwright, James's ex-girlfriend. The 2 had a daughter together and were going through a rough custody battle.
Do you want to talk to us?
Well, what are we talking about? It all depends.
Misty told investigators she was with her new boyfriend when James was killed, an alibi. She agreed to take a polygraph test to prove she was telling the truth. When asked, did she know who shot James? She said no. She failed the test. When detectives confronted Misty, she couldn't explain it and dodged more questions.
Who shot James? Andrew?
I have no clue. I actually have an idea who could have, but...
Who was that?
Well, I've been thinking this for a little while. Not that y'all would, listen to anything I said, but...
No hard evidence ties Misty to James's murder. She's not a suspect, but authorities have always thought she knows more than she lets on. A year after those interviews, she was ready to talk. In 2005, she told police the man responsible for James's murder was her ex-boyfriend, a former reserve deputy. We're not naming the man because he's never been arrested.
We never really got to interview him because He was ex-law enforcement. He was a law student. He knew how the system worked.
Misty said her ex bragged that he knew how to cover up a crime. She said he helped her fight her messy child custody battle with James. Would he do just about anything for Misty?
So mine will be here.
McGregor has spent the last 15 years trying to ask him. The ex-boyfriend refuses to talk with detectives about the case. And after police pulled his cell phone and work records, things got weird.
The personal attack on us during the investigation by him. He was digging in the garbage of my sergeant at the time.
The ex-boyfriend won't talk with us either. As for Misty Cartwright, she's in a Liberty County jail for unrelated drug charges. We tried to talk with her too. She declined our interview requests. Investigators need something to move the case forward. There's still hope James's murder can be solved. With DNA technology improving, investigators are considering resubmitting some of this evidence.
No one's totally ruled out.
The killer's DNA in one of these envelopes?
It's possible.
Sarah and her kids have long since moved out of the red house on Rosemead Drive. Couldn't bear to spend another Christmas there.
We put away my dad's Christmas presents that we got for him.
Those packages are still in a closet, tucked away with other painful memories. Haley is married now with a baby of her own. She thinks about her dad.
I miss him a lot. He missed out on a lot, you know? He didn't get to walk me down the aisle when I got married. He didn't get to see the boys grow up, you know? The boys miss him a lot.
Eventually, Sarah learned how to laugh again, be whole again. But part of her died that day with Scooter on the front lawn.
I would love to know why that happened. That changed our lives totally.
She's at peace, but will never stop looking for answers.
It doesn't bring him back, but at least you kind of know it helps put the puzzle pieces in perspective.
Courtney Fisher, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.